Welcome students of Standard 9 in the History and Civics session. In the previous session, I had explained to you about our Constitution, its meaning and importance, Constituent Assembly, Drafting Committee, the enactment, adoption, implementation and enforcement of the Indian Constitution, the salient features of the Indian Constitution. Now, today in this session, I will explain to you about one of the most important salient feature of the Indian Constitution, that is the fundamental rights. Now, this fundamental right is an essential right which is enjoyed by the Indian citizens for the overall development. These rights are essential because it gives the citizen the rights and liberties, and also it protects the citizen from the government dictatorship. Now, just like fundamental rights, which is mentioned in Part 3 of the Indian Constitution, there are certain duties, fundamental duties assigned to the Indian citizens, which is mentioned in Part 4 of the Indian Constitution. Just as the fundamental rights are the basic rights and principles, fundamental duties are the moral, social or political obligations which are given to the citizens to make them united and to make them aware of their patriotism. It also protects and awakens the people to their cultural heritage. Now, to begin with the fundamental rights, let me enlist some of the 6 fundamental rights which are mentioned in the Indian Constitution. That is, right to equality, right to freedom of religion, right against exploitation, cultural and educational rights, and right to constitutional remedies. The last one, which is mentioned in Article 31, that is right to property, has been removed from the Indian Constitution and made from the fundamental rights and made as the constitutional rights or the legal rights, because no citizen can be denied from their property. So this right is no more a fundamental right. It has been made a constitutional right. Now I will explain each of the fundamental rights one by one. Right to equality. These rights are enjoyed by the Indian citizens and made them equal in front of law. There is no discrimination on grounds of age, sex, race, caste, creed, or on the grounds of place of birth. Then titles and untouchability has been removed, and equality of opportunity is given to every citizen on grounds of employment. Then there are certain restrictions on these rights, that this right doesn't give the citizens the right to apply for any government job that the parliament has reserved for a particular group of community. Then the next one is right to freedom. This right has been enjoyed by the Indian citizens, and they have been given the right to freedom of speech, expression, to assemble peacefully, to settle in any part of India, and to follow any profession. The Constitution sees that the state make laws that would enable the citizens to enjoy these rights. At the same time, the Constitution sees that the state make laws for the benefit and interest of the whole state and for the interest of trade and profession. Now, every citizen has the right to move freely, to settle anywhere, to follow any profession, to form any association or institution, but it cannot move or settle in places which are restricted for a particular community. For example, the citizens of India cannot go and settle in territories which is assigned for the tribes or any group of minorities. Then the next one is the right against exploitation. Exploitation means misuse of services rendered by the citizens of India. Now, this right upholds the dignity of individual and prohibits the employment or exploitation of individuals on the grounds of forced labor, child labor, or human trafficking. That is, the Constitution gives the citizens the right to stand up against any kind of exploitation on grounds of forced labor or child labor or human trafficking, and prohibits the citizens to be given employment forcibly. Now here also the Constitution has put some restrictions, like the citizens can be, the children can be employed in small grocery shop, or they can be employed in the field for agriculture. The next one is right to freedom of religion. Here the citizens have the right to have the right to freely profess, propagate and practice any religion, and to establish and maintain religious institutions, to manage its own religious matters, and no person can be compelled to pay any tax for the enforcement of any religion or for the promotion of any religion. Now there are restrictions. It means to say that nobody is allowed to talk about any religion, anything in the name of religion, or talk any baseless thing in the name of religion, or one cannot make any sacrifices or religious, or can go for any religious practices that would degrade the position of women. The next one is cultural and educational rights. It gives the citizens the right to establish any administrative or educational institutions of their own choice. Then the state will give grants to the educational institutions without any discrimination. Then there is also some restriction imposed, that is, no citizen can be discriminated by the state and on the grounds of caste, creed or gender, and all minorities or religious institutions can set up their all minorities can set up their own religious institutions to promote their religion and preserve their culture. Then the next one is that is the last one, is right to constitutional remedy, which means these are the rights enjoyed by the citizens of India to safeguard the previous 5 rights, and if they are denied of the previous 5 rights, that is right to freedom, right to equality, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, then right to right against exploitation, then the right to constitutional remedies is there to enforce these rights. Under this constitutional remedies, this right to constitutional remedies, any citizen can go to the court if they are denied of any of the 5 rights, and the court, it can issue writs against the institution or government which denies the fundamental rights to the citizens of India. Now, what are writs? This I will be explaining in the next session. Just remember that writs are just formal written orders issued by the Supreme Court or the High Court to provide legal remedies to the citizens of India who are denied fundamental rights. Thank you.